Live NFL trivia every Tuesday night on Twitch at 9 p.m. Eastern. Come show off your football knowledge and have a chance to win cash prizes. Check the link in the description to find out more. And now, on with our feature presentation. The fake spike. It's one of those incredibly risky plays that if it doesn't work, makes you look like a fool because you're going to lose yardage and some valuable seconds off the clock. But when it's executed well, it is a thing of beauty, to say the least. We first saw the fake spike popularized by Dan Marino in a 1994 game against the New York Jets. And this is one of the most famous plays in the over half-century-long history of the Miami Dolphins. He wasn't the only one to pull this off, as from Ben Roethlisberger to Matt Stafford to Tom Brady, we've seen our fair share of quarterbacks do this. But there's one fake spike that seems to be forgotten. There's one fake spike that was absolutely crazy when you consider the circumstances. The plays leading up to the spike were almost improbable. The quarterback in question had a revenge game for the ages, to the point where the entire script of this game felt like it was out of a movie, and the receiver who caught the pass had no idea what was going on. The quarterback just faked the spike without anyone knowing, and it worked out big time. In a 1998 game between Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Bengals won in unbelievable fashion, and this is the story behind the best fake spike that you've never seen. Before I talk about the play, we need some context going into the moment. It's October 11th, 1998, and the Cincinnati Bengals are taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in this critical AFC Central matchup. For Cincinnati, this game is absolutely a must-win if they want any chance at keeping their season alive. The Bengals are 1-3, and if they lose this game, their season is all but over. One of those losses was a Week 3 loss to the Green Bay Packers, which you can learn more about by clicking the card in the upper right corner. As for the Steelers, they're 3-1, and are right in the thick of things at the quarter pole for the AFC Central crown, one game back of the 4-0 Jacksonville Jaguars. But the big story from this game was the return of Neil O'Donnell. By this point, O'Donnell was the starting quarterback of the Bengals, and this was his first game against his former team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The last time he played for the Steelers, safe to say it didn't go too well. At Super Bowl 30, O'Donnell notoriously had one of the worst performances by a quarterback in the big game, throwing 3 interceptions and taking 4 sacks. He signed a 5-year deal in free agency with the New York Jets afterwards, which turned out to be one of the worst free agent contracts ever, as after 2 seasons, he got waived. Eventually, he got signed by the Cincinnati Bengals, where he was named the starting quarterback. After a sour ending with the Steelers and an awful stint with the Jets, he had something to prove in this game against his former team. And that takes us to this game. After trailing 10-0, the Bengals had found a way to come back early in the fourth quarter, when Neil O'Donnell threw his second touchdown of the day, hitting Darnay Scott on a 30-yard strike. Cincinnati was leading 18-17. Even though the Bengals had lost 12 of their last 14 against Pittsburgh, they were in a pretty good spot to still pull off the upset. But after a battle of field position and a good stand by Pittsburgh's defense, they were able to get the ball at midfield, where Richard Huntley ran the ball at will, killed some clock, and got in position for a 40-yard field goal, which Norm Johnson drilled with ease right down the middle. With less than 2 minutes to go, the Bengals needed to drive the length of the field and had no timeouts. Time for Neil O'Donnell to do something absolutely magical. The Bengals were struggling to get anything going with their backs against the wall. On third down, Cincinnati tried a screen pass to Eric Bieniemy. Not only did the play lose 2 yards, but the play kept the clock running. The Bengals were in absolute panic at this point, and on 4th and long with the clock running, Cincy just had to draw up something. O'Donnell just threw it up to Carl Pickens going deep. Somehow, it works. Pickens gets 50 yards on the play, and with a flip of a switch, the Bengals go from having no shot whatsoever at winning this to being the favorite. At this point, the goal for the Bengals is to get some yardage and get Doug Pelfrey in good position to get a chip shot field goal. Pelfrey had hit his last 5 kicks, and in the past 2 seasons, hit over 96% of his kicks from inside 40 yards. However, from the 40-plus yard range in that time frame, he hit just 55% of his kicks. With that in mind, the Bengals run the ball. Corey Dillon takes it to the outside, picks up 8 yards, and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. And on the very next play, Dillon runs it for 2 yards to just pick up the first down. Here's just one small problem. The clock is running and the Bengals don't have any timeouts. Even though this field goal should be makeable, it's still not inside 40 yards, so the Bengals don't want to just let the clock run all the way down. They want to get a few more yards to make this a gimme. That's why it makes sense here to spike the ball. Everyone from the Steelers to the Bengals think it's going to be a spike. That is, everyone except for quarterback Neil O'Donnell. And what happens next is one of the greatest fake spikes in NFL history. Roll the tape.
I'll be cool. He might just slam the ball down. They got a first down. What's this? He's lofting the ball to Pickens. He's got the ball. He's fouled, and he steps in for a touchdown. penalty marker down, but it looked to us like Pickens was fouled. You talk about cool. He caught the ball, then strided in.
The Bengals had just pulled off the stunning upset. Cincinnati won 25-20 on an unbelievable fake spike. Obviously, all the talk after the game was about the play. And as it turns out, the play was so unbelievable that nobody knew it was coming. Carl Pickens, the man who caught the touchdown, was caught off guard, saying, "Believe it or not, we made that up right there on the spot. He faked the spike, and when I saw that he didn't throw it, I just took off." The only reason that Pickens took off was because Darnay Scott was on the other side, and he knew that O'Donnell wasn't going to throw to Scott, since All-Pro cornerback Carnell Lake was in coverage, especially since Scott scored 2 touchdowns earlier in the game. Had Lake not been lined up on Scott, there's a chance that Pickens would have just stood still. As for O'Donnell, why did he call the fake? Well, as he said, he wanted to take a shot because there was a whole scramble of bodies. He added on Pittsburgh's defense, "I saw half the bodies running around, the other half walking. Bodies were all over the place. You can't practice that in practice." With that, he decided to take the shot, which Bruce Coslett, having complete trust in his quarterback, had given O'Donnell the green light for. What's funny is that in the post-game press conference, Coslett said that it's an option that the quarterback and wide receiver have on that play, but I'm not sure he realized that not even the receiver knew what was happening. Unfortunately for Cincinnati, it was all downhill from here, as this fake spike was one of the only bright spots they had in that 1998 campaign. The Bengals dropped 9 straight games after this, and finished the season at 3-13. Oddly enough, their only other win the rest of the way came in the rematch against the Steelers, which they won 25-24 on a game-winning fourth-quarter field goal by Doug Pelfrey. But I can't think of too many better ways to get your revenge on your former team than this play right here. To have a fake spike and completely fool everyone, even your own teammates, is incredible. A few years ago, the NFL put out a video of the greatest fake spikes in NFL history, and this play wasn't in there. But considering the revenge plot, the situation in the game, the bomb to Pickens on 4th and 12 a few plays before, and the fact that not even the man who caught the touchdown realized what was happening and just made it up on the fly, this might just be the craziest fake spike in NFL history. Be sure to like this video, ring the notification bell, subscribe down below if you haven't already, as it helps the channel out a lot, and be sure to check out Twitch every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern for your chance to play NFL trivia and win cash prizes. Link in the description below. If you want to see videos like this condensed down to 60 seconds, then follow me on TikTok at JaredGator9 and subscribe to 60-Second NFL History on YouTube. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters helping with the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. So you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.